Hi guys, Jay Smith here, welcome to AskGolfNut channel and welcome to Titleist T100. Finally, Titleist are here. After months and stroke nearing on years, which I think it is going on to years, of trying to get hold of Titleist and they basically ignoring me, I've had to go buy these myself. Sad times. And so we're going to be testing these all over the face, get the heat map data like I do with every single other iron. We'll also test them at 70, 80 and 90 miles an hour because not everyone swings at tour speeds. We have plenty of technology inside this head. Considering this is a rather small players looking iron, we do have that dual cavity at the back. We have some special loveliness inside to try and make it feel a little bit nicer. And we do have placement of tungsten in there. Now, of course, this is slightly different to the CB, where the CB partners with their MB, their full-on blade. Their CB is just trying to make it a little bit more forgiving and then trying to get the flight a little bit higher. They've got the tungsten in the 3 and 4. This has got the tungsten in it as standard, and we are talking about that dual cavity in there to try and get the golf ball launching. The great thing, obviously, that we do when it comes to the testing that we do measure the launch factor on every single one of the irons, and I've got the 620, done that one already, the 100, the 150, the 200, the 350 and the 400. Again, weird naming convention, but we have a lot of difference in loft as well. We've got 35 degrees from the CB. This is 34 degrees, which is a much more normal, traditional amount of loft. Remember, these are fairly new-ish within a couple of years, and the CB, the 620 CB, goes back to 2019. We have also got some very thin top lines on this golf club. We also have some very thin soles as well. This looks very, very close to the CB in every single dimension. Part of it, we do also have fairly small blade lengths as well. So down by the golf ball, it's got minimal offset, no different to that of the CB. It does look a really very, very nice iron. We are at a hole which is about 179 or so yards away. It's just we are 10 yards downhill. So this 34 degree should go give or take around about like the mid 160s. And with a little bit of bounce and roll, we should be fine. Right, let's go give it a hit. It does look nice down by the golf ball there. It's a small little blade length, but it does look nice. What a wondrously poor toe to start. That's going to need an assist. It's on the green, or we are getting plenty of assist here. I'll take that all day long. Wondrous toe to start, 10 millimeters toe, 2 mil high. Not very good at all. Efficiency is only 1.29. Not the greatest. From this, I would expect around about 132, 133 from the middle, but we are going 162 yards. We're going 35 yards in the air. We're going 49 degrees descent angle, so it's doing really quite well. I'm swinging around about 90 miles an hour, 90.1. Path and face and path was a little bit drawy, hence the move off to left-hand side. It done considerably well considering that was not the greatest of strikes. 10 millimeters is not bad, but it definitely is on one of these golf clubs because you can feel it distinctly. When you don't make a good effort of hitting the middle, you do feel it. No different to that of the CB. CB is really good at being able to define finitely where I'm hitting it on the face. This is very, very, very similar, and it also has got that slightly crisper feel. It's not uber soft like I was expecting, say, the CB to be, and it wasn't. Nothing bad, just not as soft as I was expecting. Give it another go. Much better effort, and hopefully stop on the green. Oh, we're going too far. That could be bad. That is going to be a hard chip. Club speed 90.7 miles an hour, club path 1.9 from the inside, face is slightly closed, little baby draw delivery, 4 millimeters heel, 2 millimeters low, a much better job of me hitting where I should do. We are going 38 yards in the air and 50 degrees descent angle. It's just doing really quite well. Now, is it the tungsten in there that's giving out extra height and stuff? I don't know, say extra height. 38 yards in the air is pretty darn up there, but we are stopping mostly on any green. These greens are set uber firm to make it even harder. Why not? Feel is a little bit of an interesting one because it is not as soft as I would like. I'm a blade player. I love the feeling of a soft iron. That is subjectivity. It is all down to your opinion. Some people will like a really crisp feeling, explosive feeling sometimes iron. Others like it in the other way round, so it's a case they want it really soft and quiet, dull at impact. Others don't care. And depending on where you are, you'll either like it or you won't. But go give it another go. See if I can actually keep it on the green this time. I mean, it's hopefully going to stop. Hopefully going to stop. I mean, that's a really good shot, really. Just off the green. Club speed 90.8 miles an hour, so basically within reason, a tenth or so of a mile an hour, exactly the same as before. Club half sight from the inside face this time was not closing, it was slightly open by 1 degree or so. That's why I went out to the right by 4 yards or so. Not much whatsoever. Strike wasn't too bad, 2 millimeters heel, 5 millimeters low. You can distinctly feel that it's not buttoned and it is slightly low on the face. We are still going 38 yards in the air and 50 degrees ascent angle. So if it wasn't on this green, it would stop on any. Normal greens, 50 degrees, you're going to be coming in and literally plugging. Not quite plugging, but you are going to stop very, very quickly. These greens are set very, very hard. The feeling is not quite where I'd like it, but it is working very, very well. I cannot complain about the performance of the iron at all. Only thing I don't like about the looks is that little top bit there. Just, it looks a little bit kind of chunky than not chunky, and that's why I like the blades. Less busyness, all one kind of shiny idea. Oh, I don't know if you can hear that. That was decidedly low on the face. Still out the back, dear me. Club speed 90 miles an hour. Again, we're looking at exactly the same face to path delivery within reason. 8 millimeters low, 6 millimeters toe. It's not the greatest strike in the world. You can feel it, you can hear it. It doesn't feel very nice when you hit it there, but it's doing pretty darn decently. It's going 35 yards in the air, or 34.5 yards in the air. So we're not quite going up as much as we were before, but it's still stopping at 48 degrees. So it's still doing pretty well. That is not a bad miss hit. It's bad enough, but it's not a bad miss hit. And we are losing a little bit in peak height because of the strike, but it's 2 yards or so offline, so you can't complain at all. But yeah, that did feel a little bit crisp, shall we say, from a low strike. One last one, then we're going to do the heat maps and we're going to do the 3 different swing speeds. And we have a carbon copy of the previous one, nice and low on the face still. Go on, stay at the green. Oh, just off. You'd take it all day long though. Club head speed 89.4 miles an hour, club half sight from the inside face, slightly closing again. That little baby draw delivery, 3 millimeters heel, 7 mil low. You can definitely feel the low on the face. I could detect it straight away. As soon as I hit it, you could detect it was low on the face. But we are going 35 yards in the air, 49 degrees ascent angle. And again, if we would hit it anywhere near the green, it would definitely stop. Works very, very well into a green. I cannot complain at all with the performance of the iron whatsoever. Let's go hit this all over the face, heel, toe, high, low, all those weird and wonderful spots that you shouldn't really hit, but we do. Let's go see how much ball speed retention we get in the normal heat map style. Let's also go test it 70, 80 and 90 miles an hour. Let's go see how this T100 gets on at different golfers' swing speeds. So to the interesting part of the video where we find out how well this T100 iron does. Take away the marketing and find out objectively measured how it performs. How well does it do when it comes to miss hits, and also how well does it do when you hit it at 3 different swing speeds. Let's go do the forgiveness first. On the screen you can see the heat map. If you haven't seen one of these before, this is basically a representation of the face. So at the top there you've got plus 22 on the left hand side, that is the toe, we're looking at it so it's face on. Right hand side you've got minus 22, that is the heel. You've got high and low. You've got that blue line on there. What does that blue line mean? That's the turf interaction line, which effectively means if you're going to hit it any higher than 5 or 6 millimeters from where you really should do, you are going to be taking a large chunk of the world, wherever you are in the world, out first, hitting the ground first. No one likes hitting a chunk of fat, whatever you want to call it. So you can see the green blob, and the green blob is effectively between 0 and 3% is green, then it goes into yellow, into orange, and then into red. There's nothing red on that whatsoever, which is really quite good. It's just a case of you can see how well the golf club works off different parts of it. So let's just pick on the toe first. If you go 20 millimeters off the toe, you're losing nearly 5%, still 4%, so it could be 4.4% when it comes to rounding, etc. But effectively you're losing about 4% of your distance. This is ball speed, but because you're talking about a flat-faced iron, ball speed is directly correlative to distance, and so only losing 4% of your distance from a 20 millimeters miss off the toe is actually pretty good, considering this is a very small golf club. And people think that very, very small golf clubs aren't forgiving at all. So you'd expect the green blob to be tiny, but it's not too bad. Heel-wise, it's actually doing very, very well. If you go to 20 millimeters off the heel, actually, it's only losing 3%. That's still technically just in the green. That is very, very impressive. And bearing in mind, If you go any more than 20 millimeters, 21, 22 millimeters, as you can see the overlay down there on the bottom left, that little red strip there is effectively, please don't hit me there, because if you do, you're going to be interacting with a hosel, and then the golf ball's going to shoot off at a weird and wonderful direction. No one likes that, and so if you can keep it off the heel, please do. But if you do hit it 20 millimeters, it's doing exceptionally well off the heel. If you go low on the face, it does lose a little bit. Now we're going around about sort of 16, 17 millimeters. That's near on top territory, and you are losing well into the 5%, possibly nearly into 6%. But you can see on this golf club, it much prefers you to move laterally across the face rather than low, and especially off of the heel. It does like you hitting it off the heel. All this information, including the heat maps, the radar charts, and also the self-fit tool where we look at the 70, 80, 90 miles an hour in a second, that is all available on my website, www.askgolfnut.com, where the website members can compare all of the 80 or so irons that we now have on the database, and that database is growing all the time. On the screen, you can see this is the self-fit tool. This is from the gold tier. This is an amazing tool because it allows you to compare any of the 80 or so irons that we've got on the database against each other in flight, and also gappings and distances and functionality of flight coming into a green. It is an amazing tool for you to understand if, when you're going to go for your fittings, not getting missold, not getting sold too many irons. Commonly, too many people come out with 4 irons when 4 irons necessarily for their speed aren't functional, and so you find them very, very quickly stop using the 4s and 5s and actually transition into hybrids. Effectively, they've just spent however much those golf clubs cost per iron. They've just wasted 2 irons or so in cost, where they could have, if they'd have found this information out sooner, saved that money and put it towards a lovely present for the wife. But you can see on the screen at the top there, we've got the club head speed set at 70 miles an hour, the angle of attack set at -2, and the shaft lean set also at -2. Basically, this is a measure of how a golfer will swing a golf club. Different people swing at different speeds. Different people will swing the golf club coming into the golf ball, angle of attack differently. Some are more down, some are more shallow. You can change those sliders to suit your own delivery, and no different to shaft lean or D-loft. Of how much loft you add or take away, you can change the sliders and it will change your flight. So you can see we've got the T100 selected, and let's just go from a 7-iron point of view. We're going 122 yards max carry, 117 yards is the average. Now, the difference between max carry and average carry, max carry is right out of the screws if you deliver perfectly and right out of the middle. 122 yards is what you're expecting. When it comes to average carry, though, is when you do a nominal miss and you don't hit it out the screws. What kind of distance are you looking at dropping? So we're losing around about 5 yards from a nominal miss. We're going 23 yards in the air and 44.5 degrees descent angle, 44 degrees descent angle, 122 yards is not bad. Is it the longest that we've ever seen from a 7-iron? Absolutely not. This being a 34 degree lofted 7-iron, I wouldn't call it strong lofted, put it that way, but it does allow the golf ball to get up in the air and then to stop on the green. 44 degree descent angle, that is going to stop on most greens. And so yes, from a 70 miles an hour swing speed, 7-iron is functional. If you were going to go into 6-irons, etc., remember these descent angles and peak heights are based on max carry on the middle. If you start mishitting, then you are going to start dropping in distance, dropping in peak height, and dropping in descent angle. So although the 44 degrees looks lovely for a 7-iron, nominally you're going to be dropping a couple of degrees definitely when you don't hit it properly, and then no different to the 6. So I would say, even with these T100s, if you're 70 miles an hour and you deliver like this, okay, if you deliver more loft and you drive the golf ball higher in the air, then you are going to get a little bit more descent angle. But generally speaking, I would say if you are 6-iron bound, I'd be looking at potentially swapping into something a little bit more functional. Go to the 80 miles an hour, that same 7-iron is going 141 yards carry, 136 when you don't quite catch it, 31 yards in the air and 48.7 degrees descent angle. That is stopping on any green. Now, generally speaking, when I'm hitting shots, I will de-loft a little bit more and also hit down slightly more, so I don't quite get the same peak heights as what this one does. But again, that's the whole idea. If you change the sliders to suit your delivery, it's doing really very, very well. 141 yards carry, 31 yards in the air. It's just doing every single thing that you want the golf club to do. Now, you will have golf clubs with a higher launch factor that will get that golf ball launching higher, which means we'll get more peak height and then more descent angle. It's just this golf club has that pattern of wanting to spin the golf ball very well, yes, but it does want to launch the golf ball slightly lower, but still, it's doing very, very well at 80 miles an hour. You can go all the way to 5-iron and still get away with those flights. Remember, 5-iron, 45 degrees, that's great. These, though, are perfect strikes. Not everyone hits their 5-iron especially perfectly, not everyone hits their 7-iron perfectly, so as soon as you start getting the shaft a bit longer, it does get a little bit harder to control, so just bear that in mind. And by that point, I'd honestly be looking into going into a hybrid or something like that. When you start getting that shaft a bit longer, much harder to control strike, and sometimes having a little bit of a roll and bulge on the face from these curved faces of these fairy woods and also hybrids is actually a better thing. 90 miles an hour, full on speed. Carry's now gone 156 yards, going 39 yards in the air, going very up there now. This is a quite shallow delivery. I'm normally hitting a little bit more down than this, and also shaft leaning a little bit more, so I get a bit more carry, but not as much peak height. 39 yards in the air, 51 degrees of descent angle. That is going up. But then that will do at 90 miles an hour. Not many people have got 90 miles an hour. For the guys that do have 90 miles an hour and do deliver like this, let's just say -2, which is fairly shallow, especially for a 90 miles an hour, you will be getting the golf ball going up. This is a fairly low launch factor golf club, and so if you were to have a golf club with have a very much higher launch factor, that thing is going to the moon. So you could actually move into something like a T100, which has that lower launch factor, and you'll be getting some form of functionality back. To conclude on the Titleist T100, let's go looks, feel, performance, and forgiveness. Looks and feel first. So looks. Is it my favourite of all of the Titleist irons? I would say that the MB would be, then the CB afterwards, and the T series, especially the T100 and T150. Personally, I'm not a great fan of the big chunky bottom parts of the golf club and then the extremely thin top half. And some people are going to love it, and that's just a subjective thing, no different to feel. So when it comes to looks and feel, this is my opinion. Ignore me when it comes to that, because it is just my opinion. When it comes to feel, we are starting to get a little bit crisper now than the 620 CB. This is a fully forged golf club, effectively. So I was expecting it to feel soft, feel very much so more dull and quieter at impact, but it does have a little bit of crispness to it. And so the T100 for me is just a fraction too crisp. It doesn't matter, because again, if you like a little bit of crisp strike to your delivery and that's what you want, then you're going to get it in spades of the T100 and the T150. It just is a little bit crisp for me. When it comes to performance though, considering it is a 34 degree lofted 7-iron, which is traditional, not of the 620, which is 35, which is weak traditional nowadays, it's doing fine. There's nothing wrong with the iron whatsoever. It's performing exactly how I'd expect it to do. It does just have that slightly lower launch factor. It will have that tendency to launch the golf ball slightly lower, but spin the golf ball a little bit more. And forgiveness, considering it is basically a player's cavity iron, it's doing fine. Is it doing great? No. But again, a lot of people don't consider the player's cavity irons are very forgiving. In some cases, they are amazingly forgiving. In other cases like this one, they're not. But it's doing okay. Heel is doing quite well. It's just the other toe and low, especially low, it doesn't like very much. Hope you liked the video. If you did, go and give it a big old thumbs up. Hit that like button, YouTube like, so do I. Down there is a subscribe button. It's free. It is the best button of the lot for me. If you can hit that subscribe button, thank you very kindly. Next, that one is a bell icon. That's a notification bell. If you click that one, that'll let you know next time I upload another video. Hope you're well. See you again soon.